Hi Professor Citlali, good morning. In this video I'm going to explain my lesson plan and I'm going to talk about all the activities that I have planned for this class. That it was going to be a micro teaching but now it's a video, so I hope you enjoy it. Well, before I start, I'm going to set you into the context. This is not really necessary because you already know that I've been working on one of your classes at the DCS. In this occasion, the teacher is going to be me, and the skills that I'm going to develop are reading and speaking. I'm going to try to integrate both of them with the sub skill of vocabulary. The topic that we are going to see that day is I feel ill, because we are talking about medicine students, so we have to set them into the medical context. The duration of the class is 120 minutes, 2 hours. The time of the class is from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. in the morning, obviously. The English level of the students is B1. The educational level, as I said, is the university in the area of medicine at the DCS. We have 10 students around the age of 19 and 21. The teaching materials that I'm going to use are a reading about a conversation. This material is new, is created by me. I decided to use material created by me because I think that it was kind of hard to find something that really adapts or attached to the topics that I'm trying to teach in this unit and in this class. So I prefer to create a new one. The teaching resources that I'm going to use is mostly a Kahoot game. And some of the strategies, for example, writing strategies, are going to be modeling and generating ideas. For reading, I'm going to ask the students to make some scanning and intensive reading, and reading aloud and gamification. The gamification is going to be taken into account with Kahoot game. And into this gamification, I'm going to do like a contest with questions and answers. In a few moments, I'm going to explain this activity and show you how it works. And the strategy for vocabulary is going to be a brainstorming. Then I have here my objectives. The general objective of this class is that the students will apply the knowledge acquired during the unit through a simulation between a patient and a doctor during a visit to the doctor's office. The specific objectives that I'm trying to reach is that the students will identify the main ideas from a text about a visit to a doctor using the vocabulary about feelings and emotions, and that the students will produce a conversation between a patient and a doctor and talk about their symptoms using vocabulary about feelings and emotions. I'm making some emphasis about the vocabulary because even though this class belongs to a unit and the unit to a course, as I am supposed to talk about only one class, I'm going to focus on this one, that is one of the last classes on the unit, to reinforce the vocabulary through the reading and speaking skills. And as this class is going to happen at the almost end of the unit, we assume that the students have already seen all the topics, but in this class I'm also trying to add a few, not a lot, but a few new vocabulary words and expressions to enrich their learning. So let's go to the activities. And my learning activities are going to be 5. I divided them into warm-up, presentation, practice, production, and wrap-up. I'm going to take at the beginning of the class 10 minutes to warm up. As this class is at the 9 in the morning, the students are not sleepy. Well, I think they are not sleepy because it's not really early in the morning, but maybe they are hungry, maybe they didn't have breakfast, so I cannot start the class by arriving and asking questions, for example. So I decided to do the warm-up part, trying that the teacher starts the class telling the students that he hasn't felt well in the last days. So he will talk about how he feels in the moment and will ask the students if they have ever feel like that, because the topic that we're going to see is feelings and emotions, but taking all this into the context of DCACs and the medical context. So with this activity, I planned, or I consider that the teacher will activate their memory, their schemata, and will bring back all the previous knowledge that I said we have been seeing during the unit. So this is kind of a fun activity for the students, because it's not just telling the students I feel bad. The teacher has to go and really act like he's having really a very bad day because of her healthy problems, and the students have to, after that, the students have to talk about how they feel when they are in that situation. After that, I'm going to do the presentation of the topic. I'm going to take 15 minutes for this part of the class, and the teacher will write in the whiteboard the vocabulary used to express feelings and emotions into the medical context, and will add some new words for the students. The teacher will give a wide explanation about how to use those expressions with examples. The students must take notes of the brainstorm written in the whiteboard. As I said before, the teacher is going to talk in the warm-up about how he feels, and then is going to ask the students how they feel. He's going to write on the blackboard all the vocabulary, expressions, the words, but even so, I'm going to add some new expressions, as I said before, to enrich the students' learning. And I'm going to ask the students to take notes, because obviously there are some new words that they are really going to find very helpful. After this, it comes the practice time, and I'm going to take 30 minutes, because in this section I'm going to use a reading activity. And well, the teacher will deliver a reading about a conversation between a doctor and a patient. The teacher will give them 2 minutes to scan the document, the reading, and the students will identify if there are any unknown words. The new words will be added to the brainstorm in the whiteboard. So then the teacher will clarify the meaning of those new words and will make an aloud reading of the conversation with the group, because they consider that this will help the students with the comprehension of the reading. After this activity, the teacher will select some students to read aloud the conversation. And finally, for this activity, the teacher will make the students to participate into a Kahoot game to answer some questions about the conversation they read. I'm going to go a little bit down on my document to show you my conversation. I'm not going to read it all, because the video is going to take me very long. But this is the conversation I'm going to use. As you can see, it's a conversation between a patient and the doctor. And after the students read this conversation, we're going to take some time to make the Kahoot game. Let me go to the Kahoot application. Well, I hope this runs great, because sometimes because of the Wi-Fi connection it can crash down. But let's see a preview. As I don't have any student here, I'm not able to show you the real game, but the idea is this. I wrote 5 questions. They have 10 seconds to answer. After that, the program shows the answer. I'm going to go to the second question that says James is 30 years old, and as you can see, I have a true and false answers. After 10 seconds, it says it's false, and the students have to answer each question before the 10 seconds end. I can configure the time, I can change the images, I can write my own questions. Everything can be changed here. I decided to set this with 10 seconds because I consider that the reading is not that hard. So, and maybe they are able to do this very, very fast. It's just to see how they comprehended the reading. So the third question is, what are Richard's symptoms? And after 10 seconds, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and the correct answer is weakness, stomach ache, fever, and vomit. That's the same with the fourth and the fifth question. I can add as many questions as I would like. I decided just to do this with 5 questions because, as I said, the reading is not too long and it is not too complicated. So this is the activity when they have to answer. This application Kahoot is really nice because the students can use their own devices. Obviously, we need internet or Wi-Fi connection for this part, but as the DCS has this Wi-Fi connection, I think there won't be any trouble, and the students, they have their own devices. And if at the moment I see that the students don't have connection or don't have their mobile devices, well, maybe I can make some teams and change a little bit my lesson plan because of the certain things that can show up at the moment, but everything is taken into account. I have a plan B. There's no problem about that, so I'm going back to my lesson plan. And well, this was my practice activity. After this activity, I'm going to make the production one, which is the main activity of this class, because I need them to speak. So in this activity, I've set it 50 minutes because they have to write and they also have to speak. They have to write, but it's not the writing that I'm going to grade, because that writing is just like a guideline. The students will have to make a conversation. I'm going to read it to you. In this part of the class, the students will have to group in pairs and create their own conversation about expressing symptoms in a medical visit using the vocabulary about feelings and emotions. The teacher will give the instructions and will give the students 30 minutes to write their conversations. After that, each couple will have to go to the front of the group and simulate to be at the doctor's office. One student will perform the role of the doctor and the other one will perform the role of the patient, obviously with their own written conversations. I'm giving them this much time because writing always takes time, and even though I'm not really focused on writing, they need to be clear about their ideas. Obviously, in this time that I'm giving them to write their conversations and practice them, I plan to go couple by couple, walking around, asking them if they have any questions, helping them with vocabulary maybe, and to review what they are writing and doing and whatever they need. So after this, every couple will have up to 3 minutes to talk. I'm setting 3 minutes, but it could be less because not all the students are going to write a very long conversation. And as you know, when they are talking, 3 minutes is a lot. So the maximum of minutes is going to be 3. If they talk less, it doesn't matter. I really want to see here how they use language, how they pronounce, how they are talking, and the most important, how they are using the vocabulary. So The teacher will take notes to be able to provide effective feedback once all performances are finished. And this activity, the production one, for me is very important because at the end of the course they will have to deliver a final product, and the final product of my course, when we were doing the project integrador, at the final part of the course, we were meant to ask them to make a simulation and a conversation, but a longer one. So this activity will be really helpful to deliver the final work. Obviously, as I said, the final work is supposed to be larger, and it has to integrate all the topics in, not only during the unit but during the whole course. Finally, I have my wrap up, and I'm going to take 15 minutes for this because in this part I'm going to give the students general feedback to clarify all the ideas that I see during the performances. If it is needed, I'm also going to give direct and specific feedback to those couples that require it. I'm going to try to be very objective and give only positive feedback. If there is any team that has really hard complications about their conversations, their performances, the vocabulary, or whatever, I'm going to take some time at the end of the class to call them to my desk and talk to them and try to help them, or whatever it takes. And finally, I'm going to ask if the students have any questions or any doubts about the topics of the class, about the vocabulary, about whatever they need. And if there are no questions, I'm going to proceed to closure the class. So this is it. This was my lesson plan. These were the activities that I planned and my explanation. I hope the video didn't take too long and I don't pretend to bore you. I have to apologize because I have a parrot and it was very complicated to shut him up. This is it. I just have to add that it was really nice to be your student. Thank you very much, Professor Zitlali. Goodbye.